right, guys, welcome back to the Side Dish Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Shen, joined as always by my co-host, Jay Lee.
Hello.
My wife, Jae Hun Peck's with us.
Hi.
And today we have a very special guest. You might know her from her social media following on YouTube and Instagram. Julesy Two Shoes is with us today. Welcome, Julie.
Hi, so glad to be here.
Well, we're very glad you're here too because it's kind of serendipitous. Like I saw that you are a follower of us, but I wasn't familiar with your channel really. And then Jay mentioned that, like, oh, my friend Julie follows us and she's a content creator. So I went through her Instagram and I realized that you have like a really strong, like your content identity as a creator is very strongly defined, I would say, as like, you know, as a language content creator, basically. But you also create really like relatable, you know, only in Korea you would understand this kind of content too. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit. How long have you been in the social media game for?
To be honest with you, I only started making content the beginning of this year.
Oh, wow.
Around,
But you already grew to that many followers.
Around January or February is when I was like, oh, I'm going to post something.
Uh-huh.
And the first one didn't do so well, but then after like the third or fourth one got like almost 1 million views, like on Instagram.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I should keep going.
How did you manage to get 1 million views on a thing? What,
That's his dream.
Yeah, seriously.
I think honestly, you have to follow the right trends, but obviously not every video that's a trend is going to get big.
Yeah.
But you have to put a lot of effort into it.
What was the video that went viral
The
for
video
you?
was, like there was a type of video, it was like, we're Korean. Of course, we have a kimchi fridge.
I saw that one.
It was
on
like
your
it's like that
channel.
kind of one. Except I saw one where it was like two foreigners in China who made it about like we live in China. Of course, we don't have a wallet with us because everything is using like basically they use like Alipay.
Yeah.
So nobody carries any wallets there. So it's like a bunch of that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And it hit like 10 million views on Instagram, and I was like, okay, I live in Korea, so I should do one about Korea.
Yeah.
So I recruited a friend to do it like for Korea.
Yeah. I know I saw that video. My favorite joke in that is we live in Korea. Of course there's a stoplight for our feet. And then you just like zoom down to the little stoplights in the street. Thought that was kind of clever. So that was a video that really got it started for you. So you gained a lot of your followers from that one video?
Yeah, I think that was the one video that got me like over 1,000 followers like in like a week or
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how I was like, okay, I should maybe keep going. Yeah.
Okay, but real talk. Do you ever like boost your reels or anything? Just
no.
Content creator to content creator. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Because if it's
us either.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I've done the research. It's like if it's not relatable content, even if you boost it, it's not going to get big.
Totally.
Yeah. Good to know. We won't do that.
I mean, if it's an ad, for example, it's useful. For example, I've seen a lot of like ads from like local businesses, and I like never would have heard of them before. But like it's sponsored, and then I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I actually ended up following a bunch of like restaurants or cafes.
100% for restaurants and cafes.
Yeah.
It works for me. Well, I'm curious. Then, how did you find our channel? Was it through one of our ads? I wonder.
I don't know. It just came up on my feed one day.
Really?
And like I always like feel a kind of affinity with like Asian American or like the accent is pretty American.
Yeah, sure.
And talking about like Asian experiences, it's always. So I mentioned before this, I follow like Asian Boss Girl, which is like an Asian American podcast as well. So I just really enjoy like, a similar background, and I love listening to podcasts.
And you're from the Pennsylvania region, from Bryn Mawr, right? How long have you been living in Korea for?
I've been living here like full time for about over a year and a half, but I've been living in Korea on and off for about 13 years.
Okay. So you go back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah.
Did you like spend like COVID? Did you move back to the States for a while and kind of do that? Or did you go to China?
Yeah. So I spent actually like the COVID era in between like my home in the States and in Hong Kong.
Okay.
So I was doing my master's and PhD in Hong Kong for about 5 years.
Wow.
And then I just felt like the place I wanted to go the most during that time was Korea. And because of like all the restrictions, I just couldn't really make it out here then.
Yeah.
After like the restrictions were lifted, I was like, I'm going to go to Korea the first thing I do.
Yeah, so your Korean is really good. It's way better than my Korean. You were studying Korean before you came out here, but like 13 years ago when you first came to Korea, was it your first time?
Yeah, that was my first time in Korea.
Wow, first time with the language even as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
How did you get so good?
So it's going to be like, I used to be an actress and it sounds really weird, but I just felt like at that time, especially the K-drama production value was much higher than what I was seeing in the States or any other place. And my goal was to be like a TV film actress. And I just felt like the kind of scripts that were being like done here like 13 years ago was like the kind of thing I was into.
Like what? Be specific.
Like very romantic, kind of like the humor is more like kind of good-natured humor.
Very situational comedy.
Yeah, whereas like in America, it's like at that time they was doing a lot of like gross out humor and I was just not into that. And and like I'm not that into like sci-fi and fantasy either. So at that time, like Korean dramas were really good for like a real life kind of like kind of everyday life, and I just
rom-coms,
and I
Any
just
favorites?
really, I have so many ones that I like, but so basically I came here for like a semester. I studied at Koreode, and actually before I came, I had a friend who was like, "Are you going to study Korean before going to Korea?" And I'm like, I'll pick it up. And he's like, "Are you sure it's not like it's not that easy?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I studied like just Hangul before I came the first time, and then after I came here, like I was here on a study abroad, right? And everyone else was like didn't speak any Korean at all.
Yeah.
And everyone thought I was the Korean one. So everyone spoke to me, and I had to learn really quickly how to.
Oh,
I
so
see.
you like naturally acquired the language by sheer exposure, basically.
I mean, but I also had to study a lot.
Yeah.
And as I said, I used to be an actress, so I wanted to learn Korean so much that people couldn't differentiate that I wasn't Korean. So I spent so much time making sure every sound was like perfect.
Yeah, I've seen on some of your content, it's like your attention to detail with pronunciation is really admirable. Like, I admittedly grew up with such a struggle with like like, and even now, like, I used to think it was like doenjang when I was a kid, because I couldn't hear the differential growing up in the States. It was really hard for me, and still I'm really bad at it. I'm almost dyslexic when it comes to like nian and ing. And so like hearing you break it down in your videos actually is kind of elucidating to me, because I'm like, oh yeah, it actually helps to like slow down, kind of like sound it out slowly. So were you trying to be an actress for Korean drama specifically?
I mean, yes, but I had no connections whatsoever. And like, I think you definitely need some kind of connections. Like,
Were you in anything that we would know, like as a walk-on role or an extra?
Since I was only here for like that one semester, I just didn't have any connections to get on to like anything big. But I did audition for like a play.
Oh, nice.
And it did not go well.
You know, I'm involved in like the Seoul City Improv group, and they also do this thing called like the Seoul City Players. You might want to look into it, because it's just a bunch of theater nerds who get together and like do It's a little, I mean, let's be honest, we're all like in our 30s doing like community productions of one acts, which is like objectively cringy, but you know, if you love what you do, it is
hobby.
It's fun. I find it fun. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
But it is very cringy. Community theater is just very funny to me. Did you grow up doing theater in like high school too?
Yeah.
Me too. We're both theater kids.
Yeah, I did like musical theater, regular theater. I spent most of my high school just doing theater.
Nice.
And that's why I didn't get into my dream college.
Ooh, let's get into it. What was your dream college?
Columbia.
Columbia. You wanted to go for, I mean, do they have an acting undergrad program though?
I just wanted to go for like a liberal arts education because I really was a big literature nerd back then. Like, you know, I like theater. I read a lot of Shakespeare. I read like Chekhov. I read like, I was very nerdy.
You knocked off the other boxes. Yeah.
So I felt like Columbia people were very into like liberal arts, and it was in New York City, and I could do auditions for Broadway and stuff there.
Yeah.
So that's where I really wanted to go, but I did not get in.
Where'd you end up going?
I went to Cornell for a bit.
So another Ivy League school.
But I really did not enjoy my time there because it was really isolated.
Sure.
And I realized like I'm a city girl. I cannot leave the city. So I just kind of dropped out one day.
Whoa.
I just dropped out. My parents were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't want to go there. It's depressing."
Yeah, Ithaca is depressing.
Ithaca is gorgeous.
I mean, it's very pretty, but you don't want to. I mean, what year would you have graduated?
2013.
2013. So I'm 2010, right, from college, and like there was a few years where Ithaca had the highest student suicide rate.
Yeah.
I don't know if that overlapped with your
that's
tenure
where
there.
like the whole Ithaca is gorgeous joke came out, I think.
Yeah.
It was the same year that I entered that like at least 2 or 3 people jumped off the gorge.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when they built the fences along the. And I was like getting depressed up there, actually.
Yeah.
And this is something I don't really talk about, but I was like pretty, like I just did not want to live at that point.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Because it was so isolated for me, and people were all like drinking and partying every day, and I felt
You're not a big
it was
partier.
it was just not really my scene, and I felt so isolated because it was in such a there's not even a city within like a 2-hour
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I need to get out of here. I'm gonna like jump off a bridge.
No, totally.
So
Totally.
that was my real reason. I was like, I cannot stay here any
I
longer.
see. So what year did you drop out? Like sophomore year?
I dropped out like the spring of my freshman year.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And you
Good,
never.
good for you.
That takes balls.
Yeah.
Especially coming from an Asian household where you've like done the thing, which is go to an Ivy League school and then you drop out. Like, so your parents didn't take that well, I guess, or
They were like, she's out of her mind. She'll come back and we'll like enroll her back in the fall. And like, I was like, nah, I don't even want to go to college anymore. Cause it was just like, I felt there was no purpose. Cause
Yeah.
at that point I wanted to be an actor.
right.
And I felt like going to school was like a waste of my time because I wanted to be auditioning instead. But parents like, you need to go back to college.
And looking back,
Yeah, I think that's
11
a good-
years later,
I
what
think
do you
that's a
think?
good decision.
So then you re-enrolled later on in life at a different university to finish your degree. Where'd you go
yeah.
for your second half?
I just went to a local school because at that time I was still like depressed.
Yeah.
So I felt like living at home with my parents was like a very safe kind of environment.
Right.
So I just went to a local university in the Philly area, Temple.
Oh, I know Temple. Yeah, for sure. A very famous skateboarder went to school there, so that's how I know it. Okay, and then so when you were in the States, then did you also try to audition for like musical theater stuff out in the city, like in New York? Were you trying to get on Broadway at one point? Because I'm not even gonna lie, when I was in high school and doing theater, I also was like, I want to be an actor. Like I've done the work to, do theory and like read plays. And at the time, I felt very connected to certain types of characters because when you're a teenager, you feel these emotions so extremely. So I was like, if someone were to cast me in the role of like an angsty teenager, I would fucking win an Oscar. Like, there's no way I would like fail that project because I'm so like I have so much in me that I want to share as an actor, blah blah. And then now that I do like comedy acting, I'm like I can't act for shit. I don't know what I was thinking.
Acting is hard.
Acting is hard, but it's also such a fun exercise. Like playing pretend is really fun and very therapeutic in my opinion. But for you, was it mostly like the musical side that you liked more or the dramatic side?
This is going to sound funny, but I only got into acting because I was actually like a child model. And like there was, and at that time when you were going on like modeling auditions, there's also acting auditions, and they were like, you should do acting too. And I was like, but I'm not really interested. I just like fashion. So it was actually because I was interested in fashion that I got into acting. So it's just like a funny story is because, I just really wanted an escape from everyday life because I felt like everyday life was very bland.
Coming from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, like
not surprised.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like when you live in like a small town, you feel like there's a lot of things you want to experience. And I felt like acting and when I was younger modeling, you would go to different cities, you would like tour or whatever, go on different sets. And for me, that was like, I wanted to meet new people, experience new things and new cultures. And that was mainly my reason. But also, it's fun to imagine that you're in someone else's shoes because
Absolutely.
like, going to school, studying for SATs was not my idea of fun.
Yeah. What was your major then when you were studying at Cornell or when you finished your degree?
I actually entered in on a sociology or English major, I think, but it wasn't like set in stone.
Yeah.
And then once I transferred to Temple, I was a theater major.
Oh, cool.
And I was, I studied theater undergrad, but then I came to Korea for a study abroad. And because I came for a study abroad, it was like messed up my schedule. So in order to graduate on theater, I'd have to do like another 2 years.
So you dropped out again.
Yeah, so I just switched to another major in that in that department. It was like media and communications.
Okay, cool. And so, not to like jump around too much, but you also then went on to get a PhD in linguistics in Hong Kong. So you are a very well educated person.
Jack of all trades.
Well, definitely master of Chinese, English, and Korean. So that's something to go. I was also gonna say I'm gonna give you some kudos here. I was watching your reels and I was like, wow, Julie's really eloquent and is able to articulate your scripts, I guess, really well because I noticed like a lot of them are just one take of you just talking at the camera.
Oh my gosh.
And like there's no there's no like awkward pauses. So I'm like, yeah, clearly a trained actress because it's like just a 1 minute take of you explaining the origin of shampoo or something. I'm like, oh wow, this is like a solid video.
Oh, that means my editing was good. No, but it's true. Like I realized, like when I first started doing like reels, I was like, I'm just going to talk to the camera, and whatever comes to my head, I'll say it.
Yeah.
But then I realized, like the people who make consistently strong reels, they actually script out what they're going to say
Everything,
beforehand, including like what they call the hook. It's like a 5-second hook. You need to hook them in, and so every video I pretty much do like at least 5 takes to make sure I have the right pacing and everything.
Yeah. Are you on the schedule of doing like one video a day, or what's your sort of
No.
style?
One video a day is too much. No.
But isn't that kind of what they say though, that you're supposed to do one video a day? Because we put out
Consistently.
maybe 2 reels a week, at most, and that's done us pretty well so far. But I've just heard from other people who've built followings that publishing every day is really kind of the meta hack. But I don't know what your experience is like.
I think it's a combination of quality and consistency. So like if you put crap every day, it's not really going to.
But you've seen those channels of like, well, a piece of bread falling over every day until I prove to my econ professor that he's a fucking retard or whatever.
I think it just like depends on what the content is.
Yeah.
Because if you're like scripting everything out, it must be a grind to come up with what you're going to say, come up with like the trendy thing that's going on versus like, something like I'm going to spend the next 3 years of my life trying to make varsity basketball.
Yeah.
And like you just record yourself shooting a basketball every day.
Yeah.
And like then you can put it out.
Those channels are crazy. Like I'll like hold my breath for 1 second for every follower I get until the guy basically dies. Yeah. it's just so crazy. Like the whole social media landscape is so crazy because, we're in our mid 30s now, and at a certain point, I was like, I get that content creation is like a young man's game. It's like kind of the new generation stuff. I was like, I'm in my 30s. Like, I can't play catch up. And then we started this podcast maybe 4 years ago. And here we are basically doing the content thing, like just naturally fell into it organically. But it sounds like you also fell into it a little bit organically because, again, going back, I understand that you also have a background in like board game design and making board games.
As I said, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah. So, it was during like COVID.
Did you work for any of the big like Mattel or something?
Oh, no. So it's just because I love board games. I got into board games when I was living in New York, when I was an actress in New York. And I just found like board games to be
What's your top board game?
Oh, I actually my favorite games are like either deduction ones or like word games.
Okay.
As you said, I'm like a
So
kind of
I'll
nerd.
take a wild guess. You like games like Avalon or One Night Werewolf?
Okay, one of my first favorite games was Avalon.
Okay. And you also like
Not Scrabble.
what's the one with the words and the
Codenames?
slides? Codenames.
Yeah.
Codenames. I've played that a bunch of times.
Nice.
Is once you become like real toku, you're really into the board games. You play like 5 or 6 that are similar to each one of the ones that are famous.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, but these other games are so much better than
I
Codenames. So
see.
like right now, like I end up playing new games all the time because
Nice.
I played the same ones. I played Codenames at least 50 times in my life.
Sure. We went through a phase where we were obsessed with that game. 100%.
Yeah. So once you play games a lot, you start to think about like mechanics. They're called mechanics and board games like that you like. And over like the COVID like lockdown period, I was just playing board games for like 5 hours a day online with friends. And I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a game.
So you did. You made one.
Yeah, I just for fun.
What's the sort of base or the premise of it?
Is it
Yeah.
out?
Yeah. It's
We can
on,
buy it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Oh.
Whoa, what's it called?
Whoa.
It's called Cake Off.
Take Off.
Cake, regular spelled cake, and then AUF for off, which is like because the game is kind of like
cool.
about desserts from around the world. And so that's why I wanted to make.
This is nice looking.
Oh yeah. So I also have a professional background in graphic design.
Oh, wow. You really are a jack of all
I
trades.
do everything.
Trades.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I really like cooking shows. So, like recently in Korea, it's like, the culinary culture wars is really big. But like growing up, I really like Chopped, Top Chef and things like that. So every time I watch the shows, I get so excited. And so I wanted to kind of channel that into a card game.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, at least aesthetically, of that sushi board game.
Sushi Go?
Yeah, Sushi Go. A little bit. Which I have a very funny story about that. I was drunk. and I was with
Good starter.
I was actually on a date, right? This is like a long time ago. I was on a date, and like my date and I walked by a board game store, and I was like, you know what? Let's just like go in there and buy like a board game and play it at my house. And then we went in, the guy was like, yeah, our number 1 seller is Catan. I was like, I already have that. He's like, well, our number 2 is Sushi Go. And I was like, all right, pack it up. Let's go. And then we get home and I'm like reading the instructions and I'm so drunk. I'm like, I don't understand how to play this game. It's so it's so hard. And then we played it like once or twice and then I end up losing the wasabi piece, which is like a very important piece of that game. I lost it and I never played it again.
It was like a traumatic experience.
And then that girl dumped me like 3 months later. So
How many times did you play the game?
I think we played it twice.
Oh, twice.
I like board games, but I like to stick with the ones I really know, like, you know, Catan. That's pretty much it.
I did a Catan tournament earlier this year and I failed miserably. I'm so bad at Catan.
Oh, really?
Like I always get the terrible spots. Like even if I'm the first player to pick, I always pick wrong.
Yeah. So tell us nowadays then, what's your sort of day-to-day like? You are a PhD in linguistics. You are trilingual. You have a background in board games, and your board game has like a 4.6 rating on Amazon. It has a bunch of ratings. It does really well, it seems. So like, what is your day-to-day like? Are you, you know, coming up with new entrepreneurial ideas or just focusing on the content stuff?
I think these days I'm focused on YouTube actually.
Yeah.
Because I think Instagram is fun, but I feel like the followers there are not necessarily like very gung-ho about you. Like it's more of a casual relationship. Whereas
They're not loyal.
I don't want to say not loyal, but I just want to, I think it's because like just the way the content is kind of like on your feed and you don't really go out of your way to kind of keep up with someone. Whereas like on YouTube, I feel like there are like membership tiers and then there are, you know, when someone is a follower of you, like there's like a icon next to their thing, their name. And then when they comment, like I have some people who, I've only been doing YouTube for like 3 months, but some people like comment like on every video.
Wow.
And, you know, so, and I feel like because I have my linguistic background, the people on YouTube tend to be more academic. Like they're just a bit older and they are more interested in like the hard talk about like linguistics. Whereas on Instagram, it's more about like, hey, here's this funny thing.
Yeah.
Here's this, you know, weird thing that happened to me. Whereas like, it's hard. I don't really feel much of a community on there. Whereas on YouTube, it's like, you know, I feel like I'm actually having some deep conversations with people.
Do you have like a Patreon as well associated with your channel?
I just got like YouTube partner, which is like you can do the membership directly on YouTube.
Okay.
So I'm still thinking about it. I haven't come up with like I don't know exactly.
Yeah. What would the paywall content even be?
Yeah. So I still need to develop that.
Yeah. You could also just stream yourself playing games on Twitch, I guess, right?
That's like a very opposite.
Let's brainstorm together, guys. What can Julie do? Also, just wondering, your handle is Julesy2 Shoes. Where did that name come from?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so I immigrated to America when I was like 7, and my English was really not good back then. And I was very shy because I couldn't really speak English, and also because I was like the only Asian in like every school I went to for a while. And so people would give me like kind of mean nicknames like goody two shoes or like you're such a like blah blah blah, not good names. So I think just for me, I ended up being like a language nerd. I just really like kind of like puns. So when I did my honestly, the Julie Two Shoes was just like a personal Instagram account.
And it turned into your handle.
Yeah, because I was just trying to make it kind of a funny name. And also SY stands for my Chinese name. So yeah, it's just kind of has some meaning now. And people always ask like, what does that mean? And I'm like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like a funny pun. Yeah.
Do you go by Julesy as well, or is it just the SY is added just because of the pun?
It's kind of because of the pun. I think most people call me Julie or Jules.
Okay.
So any combination is fine. But in Korea, I have like a Korean name, and then with Chinese.
Wait, what's your Korean name?
Soyoung.
Soyoung.
okay.
That's a
So
very
it's-
proper.
SY.
Yeah, SY.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And what's your Chinese name?
Siying.
Seeing.
So it's like similar.
Yeah.
It's like the same Hanja translated to Korean.
My Hancha is fucking shitty, dude. It's so bad. Okay, let's rewind though. You come to Korea. You had an interest in. I'm assuming you were getting interested in Korean dramas at this time too, or you were at least aware you'd consumed some Korean content before you came to Korea on the study abroad, or was your study abroad opportunity just like, wow, it's just like America but Asian?
This is really funny. Like, I really like Korean food. Like, the first time I ate Korean food was actually in college, and I have a really funny story about how I eat bibimbap without the gochujang. And then the ajumma came and she was like, you need to mix it in. And I was like, oh, no wonder it was so bland. It's a really funny story because I forgot to put it in there. I thought it was like just an optional thing. But anyway, I just, because I'm from like northeastern China and we have a lot of choseonduk over there. And so like the food that we eat, like I grew up eating, is very similar to Korean food.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so like the soups, like the Korean soups, like we eat that at home. Like the, banchan, like the more like the kind of like pickled, like the oi, all those pickled things, like we eat similar things at home. So when I first ate Korean food, I'm like, this is like my home food, but more delicious.
Have you ever done a 23andMe to look at your
I did, yeah. And they told me I was like part Mongolian.
Hey man, that's Korean. Hey, that counts as Korean, okay?
Yeah. So
it also counts as Chinese though. So
yeah, so I think I'm just kind of, because I'm from the area of Korea, or China that is very close to Korea. Like my province is like right next to North Korea. And so there's always like been like a lot of like, my family has a lot of friends, choseonduk, and like, so I just feel like I have a lot of...
You have a kinship with Koreans, yeah.
Yeah, and so back to the story of the study abroad, I had this Korean food truck I really liked, and I would go there every single day after class to get their whatever, I think it was like taepokum or something. And I just, one day I saw like, it was like study abroad in Korea. And I was like, oh, I mean, I can eat this food every day. So that's why I applied. It's because I really wanted to eat Korean food every day.
Following your stomach.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So you came to Korea, didn't speak a lick of the language. Your only exposure to the culture is basically through cuisine.
And some K-dramas. Oh, and I was a big Super Junior fan, like when I was a long time ago.
Super Junior has changed many lives.
Super Junior. Remember Sorry was like, that was like in my high school, like everyone was crazy about Sorry.
Yeah, I listened to that song a lot too.
I was a cool theater kid. I did not listen to K-pop at all. I did everything in my power to stay away from K-pop, but anyway, what was your impression of Korean culture and Korean people when you got here? Because obviously something about it, you wanted to stay, right?
Yeah, so this is going to sound bad to my fellow Chinese, but I felt like Korea was like China, but a lot cleaner.
That's how we feel about like Singapore and like
Japan.
And Japan, we're like, wow, this is like Korea but cleaner.
Yeah, but also like I think at that time like Korea was very trendy as well.
Yeah,
I mean it's still trendy now, but back then it was more trendy than China was back then. So I just felt like it was like a really ideal place that I just felt like people were dressed nice. They cared about, the way they look. And even though people say Korean fashion is very like bland and like everyone wears the same colors and stuff, but I find it very like classy.
Yeah. We had a guest on a few podcasts ago who was like, yeah, like if I could rank all the countries, like Korea's the fashion's the best, which blew my mind because I always thought Japan had way more fly, gear than we did. We were just in Japan and I was like, yeah, they dress way better. They like actually have this guy, I bought some shoes from this guy and he had like multicolored braces on and he looked so cool. Like he pulled it off. So I was like, "Who accessorizes braces, dude?" Yeah, like straight up. I was like, "You're a man," and he had a humongous beard. Like, I don't know. I just feel like Japanese people have some swag that I wish
they definitely do have swag.
They have way more swag. Their facial hair, dude. Japanese men's facial hair is like I aspire to achieve.
I see.
Maybe I'm saying too much.
And I think it has to do with like your perspective. I feel like girls tend to like Korean fashion because it's more like I was going to say it's kind of chic, whereas like Japanese has like kind of more of like a little bit of a baggier, kind of more relaxed, kind of feel. So I feel like girls who are into like preppy or kind of like
it's definitely cuter.
It's more Korean.
I agree.
Some people though just have swag, whether they're Korean or Japanese or something like.
That's true.
Because like this shit that I see here too, like I could never pull it off.
I know.
Even if I think it looks cool.
I know.
Yeah.
I think the coolest dressing people are like in the not the main Itaewon Street, but closer to, like Liam, the art museum area. Like that place is like
the pocket, right?
People are so stylish there, and there are a lot of art galleries there.
It's like right in between like Hanam proper and Itaewon. It's like they're like faux rich, and like the bougiest restaurants are there. Like the Polestar car dealership is there. Everyone is really good looking. I feel like there must be like a modeling agency nearby because everyone's so
that
good
area.
looking.
I went there once, and I'm like, I need to go home. I need to change. I need to like lose 30 pounds and come back. That's how I felt about going there.
Did you also, when you came out to Korea? I mean, let's talk about the dating scene. What I have a feeling that Korean guys were trending as Korea got cool. I feel like Korean guys are getting cool. When I was in high school, Korean guys were not cool, I mean, except for Super Junior, maybe, right? But I never felt like the object of desire by
in
any
the States, especially
in the States.
Not like the way you do now, right?
Now you're on top now.
Honestly, now that I have like dad swag going on, like 'cause I don't care. I do sometimes feel like I must be so hot to some people right now, but like I would never know. I would never know because I just don't care. But but what was dating like for you? Your journey with like maybe dating Korean guys, and did you also date like Chinese guys growing up or anything like that?
Yeah.
Or non-Asian guys.
I'm sure a lot of white boys liked you.
That's a good question, but I think like in middle school and high school, I think I was more into white guys, just because there was more of them.
Sure.
So when there's like a diversity of like people you can choose from, you can pick like the one that fits like your visual standard or whatever.
Right.
Whereas like there's not that many Asians, so it's like there's like 5 choices.
No, I totally
you know what I mean?
agree, yeah.
So I think definitely at that time, more into white guys. And then in college is when like, if you go to like a big college like Cornell, there's tons of Asians there.
Yeah.
So I think at that point is when I was like, oh, I should probably start dating some Asian guys.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think it was starting from then. I was just like, I think I grew up like for a while trying to be quite like Americanized or like whitewashed for a while because you have to survive.
To survive, yeah, for sure.
So then in college is when I was like, oh, I need to start
discover your Asian side.
Rediscover it because like I kind of like put it away for a while.
I mean, you lived in China until you were 7, though. So you're Asian.
I'm very Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I couldn't speak English. I went to ESL.
That's crazy.
For like 2 years. Yeah, and they were actually telling me like your English is not good, so we need to put you in ESL for another year. And I was so offended.
No.
But yeah, there was that time I was like, am I gonna get good at English? But anyway, so for a while I like forgot about Asian everything, and then went to college, and I was like, oh. I really like Super Junior. Oh, I should like go to Korea and eat Korean food every day.
You were the Chinese girl who went to the KSA meetings.
No, I didn't. No, there's actually a lot of like stigma there too, like in these kind of communities too, because like once I went to like some Taiwanese kind of group things, and they were really against China, and I was like, oh, I should just not go to any of these specialized groups because it's like really serious.
It's very political.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm just gonna stick to So that's why I just went to Asia instead of trying to do Asian American enclave.
Yeah.
I just was like, I feel actually more Asian.
That's so interesting. I had a similar experience to you, but also the opposite because I felt like the Koreans, especially international Koreans, did not like me at all when I went to college. But the Asian Americans did, obviously. And then there were like almost 2 different groups. There was the Korean Student Association, and then there was the Korean Business Association.
Oh.
And all like the sort of yuhakseng kids went to the KBA because like you'd speak Korean, you'd drink. Everyone's parents were rich, so like they lived a different tier lifestyle. And then KSA was, or even CASA, Korean American Student Association, was very much like whitewashed New Jersey, New York kids.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
like
it was the opposite.
I felt very judged by the Koreans, but also because my Korean's really bad. So like I think as soon as I spoke, they're like, "Oh, you're just like California kid who doesn't know anything." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'm just
like, why is your Korean so bad?"
Literally, like, why is it so bad? I mean, she even I feel like Jaehyun didn't really understand until she met my parents. But like my parents speak English to each other, to me. Like I grew up speaking only
They're
English.
very American.
Yeah, so
it made sense.
if I could just like show those people like a video of my parents, they'd be like, "Oh, that makes perfect sense why you have no Korean abilities whatsoever."
Yeah.
Oh man, it's really tough. I feel like for me, it's like I feel like since I was not born in America, I feel like I need to be the ambassador. Like I need to be good at Chinese. I need to be good at Korean now that I've learned Korean for so long. And so part of the reason why I've been living in Asia for like the past 7 years is because I feel like I don't really have any place to grow in America in terms of, since I'm trilingual, even though I'm trilingual, there's still times when I struggle with like some of the languages, right? So if I stay in Asia, I get to be exposed to the languages, like, and I can just kind of like grind that into my brain for longer. Whereas if I move back to America, like, I'll be just hanging out with only English speakers. So for me, I feel like, I don't know, like once you get over the point like where you're going to have some grammar mistakes or maybe some pronunciation issues once in a while, that's fine. Once you get past it, I think, like you were here in Korea too. You're here, you listen to Korean every day, probably on the streets. So I feel like
I drown it out. I just turn off my brain.
yeah, for me, I'm like a hyper sensitive. I listen to like every language coming in and I try to process it. And that's why, I'm good at languages, but it's also hurts my brain a lot.
I'm sure it takes a lot of mental acumen and energy for sure. But it's funny because, you had so much trauma adjusting to America that your brain morphed into a super sponge of language. That's your origin story, Julie. You know?
Marvel, where are you?
Yeah, like the opening scene, I got it right now. Like the opening scene is like you on the playground and be like, "Hey, Julie, good shoes," or whatever. And you're like, you don't even understand. And they're like, "You'll never be good at English, Julie, good shoes." And, and then something sparks within you.
God. I have so many funny stories about when I was first learning English, actually. Oh my God. There was like people who were making fun of me. Like I mentioned, like I grew up in like a mostly white neighborhood with rich kids. And I didn't have any friends. And they would just like call me names behind my back. Like one guy actually punched me. And I was like, the first time I was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. And the second time he punched me, I punched him back because I didn't know how to respond. And then he told the teacher, and then the teacher came and said, "You're a bad kid."
Dang.
And then there was a time when like these girls were making fun of me and I was like, what are they saying? It must be something bad. And then the second time they said something about me and I was like, okay, I'm going to remember what they said about me. And I'm going to go to the teacher and I'm going to say, they said a bad word about me. This was like maybe 4th grade. And then the teacher was like, what did they say? And she's probably expecting some kind of curse word. And I said, they called me a jerk. And the teacher was like, maybe just don't talk to them. Like we cannot.
It's not a polite thing to say, but it's not like a bad. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't put them in detention. We can't call their parents for that word. If it was like another word, maybe. But yeah, so this is like my life.
I honestly, growing up in a white community in Pennsylvania as a Chinese immigrant sounds like probably
pretty tough.
Yeah, dungeon tier like life experience. Like that's like you're starting at like the hardest level, right? Like that's hard. Like if you grew up in California where we have a bunch of Asian immigrants, you would have
or New Jersey.
Or New Jersey or Atlanta or Seattle or honestly so many other communities that are Asian.
I know.
But walking it back to the dating scene, though, I do want to pick your brain.
Man, about the dating scene.
So you have a boyfriend right now.
Yeah.
How long have you been with him for?
Over 2 years.
Okay. And how'd you guys meet?
We met on Bumble.
That's how we met.
Oh. Yeah. It's just really funny. Is because I was actually just here like 2 years ago because of the COVID situation. I was like, I'm gonna need to go back to Korea. I need to go to Korea. I miss Korea. So I lived here for just like maybe like 3 months. Is because like without a visa, I think it's like 3 months max. You can stay here, and like I think I met him like 2 weeks after I came here, and I was about to fly back to. I was actually living in the States at that point, so I was gonna fly back to the States after a month, and then after a while I was like, I should just stay the whole 3 months. So I actually pushed back my moving date after I met him. And somehow, like 3 weeks before I was going to fly back to America, we ended up like being committed. Actually, you know what? Not even. I think it was like 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like,
things happen fast in at least for Korean dating, as I'm sure you know. I think people define their
Koreans
relationship really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like actually during like around the time of the Itaewon
tragedy.
Oh,
I see.
And I almost was there that night.
Yeah.
But it was because he wanted to go on a date the Sunday.
Aww.
And I was
he
like,
saved you.
And I was like, I can't go. Like he wanted to go to like Incheon, like the beach or something. And I was like, I can't go to the Itaewon and party and then come back at like 3 a.m. and then go to the beach. So I was like, I'll just go to Itaewon on Friday. So I ended up going on Friday. But even Friday was super.
I mean, I've been there in years prior, like it was like fun for a while to be like, wow, it's getting really crowded. Like, this is crazy. But I'm really glad we weren't there that year. That's pretty.
We were in the vicinity though.
For sure.
I think it had to do with the fact that like it was very traumatic at that time, and I basically spent the Sunday afterwards with him, and he was
guys
very
trauma
supportive.
bonded.
He was very supportive, and like it's just everything was very like it was just like it was. I don't want to say it was a good thing, but I just want to say like what happened.
He was, yeah.
He was there.
He was there for you, yeah, and you guys were vulnerable. What is your sort of? Have you dated Chinese, Japanese, any other like Asian like male before? Or?
Just Chinese and Taiwanese.
If you had to give like one stereotype that you've observed to be true about these types of men, what would it be?
I feel like Chinese guys are more like they put like the family along with you like the entire ride, like whereas I feel like in Korea like I don't think guys necessarily want their parents to be in their personal lives, like just because they can be very possessive like that. But Chinese is more like I used to date this Chinese American guy who like he just lived with his parents, and I would see his mom like every day. And they weren't trying to do any kind of like
get married.
They were just like, it was very chillax. It was very like that kind of thing. But I can't really say any for like for others. I do have a very bad experience dating a Hong Kong guy.
Oh yeah?
And I hope he doesn't listen to this, but that was the worst experience of my life.
Tell us.
It was the worst experience because like
nice.
Like so I lived in Hong Kong for about 5 years, and the second year I was there was like the Hong Kong protests. I don't know if you remember.
Like Umbrella Revolution ones or the
Umbrella was like the first one. And then back in 2019 was like,
they were just the protests.
Was like a more serious.
The One China protests.
It was about like some guy was arrested.
A journalist.
And then they were trying to change the law so that he can go back to China, whatever. And so it was really severe because I was trying to learn Cantonese, even though it's very difficult and it's hard. And it's very different than Mandarin. So I was trying to learn it, but when I speak Cantonese, it's clear that I have a Mandarin accent. So like people just didn't really want to talk to me, especially after that time, it got so much worse. And so like he would actually, during the time the protest happened, like he would just be like, you don't understand, you're a Chinese person. And he would basically like, because he viewed China as the enemy. So basically, even though we were like, in a relationship, he would view me as like the enemy. And at that time, I was like auditioning for some like roles there, and I auditioned about like, they're looking for some like actors for like a commercial for the police, and he was like, it'd be so weird if like a Mandarin speaker was speaking in like a Hong Kong ad. Like it was just so demeaning to me. Like it was just like. Even if you're in a relationship with someone, you're not supposed to be like making fun of their language background, their like family background, their cultural background.
So he was just basically antagonizing you.
It was just such a terrible.
He was othering you.
It was such a terrible relationship.
Wow.
It was,
I mean, when it comes to the whole geopolitics of like Taiwan, Hong Kong, and China, for sure, I think identity politics is just its own bag. Because I have friends in America who are Taiwanese that. My whole life they'd be like, I'm not Chinese, I'm Taiwanese. And then like one day they just flip their brains and they're like, actually I'm Chinese. Like my friend Jeanette, she was like her whole life, she's like, no, Aaron, I'm Taiwanese. And then one day she's like, actually my dad loves China and I love China too. And I'm like, okay, like I don't understand. I don't really get it, but okay, I guess you're Chinese now.
I think it has to do with, power.
It's a lot to do with power. It's also like, power, opportunity, like where the money is, like where you're going to work. Okay, so Hong Kong guys can be a little bit, should we say, douchebags?
Every single Hong Kong guy I've dated is like either a douchebag or just not great.
Nice.
And that's why they're exes.
I'm sure there's one Hong Kong listener out there who's a really nice, sweet boy. And if you are, please comment. Please comment on this video.
Please defend Hong Kong guys.
How about any negative experiences dating around with Korean guys? I know you found a really nice guy here so far that you're dating, but have you gone on any like, one night sort of just first dates that have ended disastrously for you or like sogeting or like a friend setting you up with someone?
I don't really have any terrible stories.
Good answer.
But I remember a funny story when I was like in college here, and there was a Korean guy. He was saying like, "Oh, I broke up with my girlfriend," and like those of us around were like, "Oh, so sorry," and he was like, "No worries, I'll just get another one in a week." And it was like for him, it was very much like having a girlfriend is like
An
just
accessory.
Like, yeah, it's not really like you don't really care about if you're really that compatible or like if you have a connection. It's just kind of like, oh, you just need to have a girlfriend.
You're just triggering me, man. Because like all those like yuaksings I went to school with were like rich, handsome, like tall, just like basically K-drama dudes, right? And they like one of them even had like a nice car. I went to BU, so like having a car in BU was like, what are you doing? This guy like had like a nice brand new car that his parents bought him from Korea. Like he had an apartment, they said. And I would just get so jealous. I mean, frankly, just so jealous, right? Because I remember like this one really handsome like yuakseng guy who dated all the cutest girls in my grade and like would just go through them like one by one. And I was like, I don't get it, man. Like, what does he have that I don't besides a nice car, an apartment, like, you know, height, good looks, rich parents? Like, I still don't get it. But yeah, so what you're describing kind of, I saw a lot of that behavior, especially in college, of like, yeah, like dating is a lifestyle choice. It's like an accessory. It's a way to like promote yourself almost rather than finding love, right?
Yeah, I also heard like a big rumor at that time is like when guys would have like they're kind of like a very like a good girlfriend for image.
Yeah.
And then they would just they would not be that close. They'd be kind of like we're like, you know, like
yeah, it's a PR thing.
Yeah, and then on the down low, he would be dating like other girls.
Oh yeah,
and I was just like, that's something I never really experienced and never heard of. Like, because I feel like in the States, like if you're gonna date multiple people, you just say like, oh, we're not serious, we're just casual, and then they could just, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But then when you have like a PR girlfriend who is like, she is the like Pyeojeong, like she is the good one, and then you're just kind of like not trash, but like, you know what I mean? Like you're not like,
you're just an entitled brat who like has access to beautiful things, including women. Sorry, if I sound resentful, I am.
Yeah, but I never personally experienced that. Although, oh my God, I did have one guy that I was into, and we went on so many dates. Like we went on a lot of dates. And then he literally just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And he said, like 2 weeks later, he was like, oh, my family member died. And I had to go to their funeral and I couldn't access my phone for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I had a similar experience.
I was like
that.
what the? I was so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree.
I don't know what happened there. I still don't know. Like, I'm still thinking, like, what? Did he just wanted to ghost me and just...
Yeah.
And, but the thing is, it's like, why are you making him a
100%.
funeral? It's like so serious.
Yeah. He needed a backstory. He needed 2 weeks to think of that backstory.
Yeah, like he didn't read. I was like...
Men are cowards, let's just be honest.
Yeah, like it was so strange because I was like, I came to the conclusion that he had like a PR girlfriend or like another girlfriend and he just didn't want to talk about it. Yeah, I think that's what I came up.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, looking back on my dating years, I'm not proud of the way I like ended things with girls sometimes. Like, yeah, it's hard to like be honest about your feelings, basically is what I learned. But then when I was mature enough, like when we started dating, it was really easy to be like, you know what, let's just put everything out there. Like, so it just is out there, right? And it helped us fall in love faster, honestly, rather than like playing that, what do you want? Like, what do you look for?
dance.
Like that whole dance, it takes months sometimes to come to that like conversation. It's like, hey, do you ever want to get married? Like, it's okay if you say no, but I kind of need an honest answer. Like, I would date, I had a 4-year relationship where that conversation never happened. And then like one day it was like, hey, like, would you ever want to have kids? And she was like, nope. And I was like, well, we should break up because I definitely want to have kids, you know, like, so, but those are lessons you learn in your 20s and early 30s, I'd say. Okay, so for fun, you were just kind of playing board games, hanging out with a boyfriend. How do you, this is such a stupid question, but I mean it, like, when you were like, hey, I need to come up with a video, right? Are you like constantly kind of like, hey, like, this ajima said something that kind of reminded me of this Chinese word. I should make a video about that. Like, do you have like a notebook that you write ideas in, or how does the content come to you?
Yeah, you're right. Definitely all of my ideas come from either looking at other people's videos or my own life. So yeah, I do write them down. I just use Trello, to be honest. It sounds like a lame answer, but I have like a bunch of Trello boards where it's like to film or filming ideas, and I just write the scripts on them and stuff like that. So I usually use that. But I mean, I write down all of my scripts like by hand on notebooks.
Do you have like multiple tripods at home and multiple cameras?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah,
I saw on one of your reels you had a shot of your mom pouring out the coffee through like a sieve, and I was like, that tripod was over the shoulder shot. Like, she's got a tripod for sure.
Yeah, so when I first started, I was just literally just putting the phone against the wall.
Honestly, like we prop our phone on a shoebox.
Yeah, and then after a while, I was like, I should probably get some more gear.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting like a kind of like a gimbal. But the gimbals, like unless you spend a good amount of money on a good one,
Yeah.
the gimbals are kind of wacky.
Yeah.
So if I get another gimbal, it's going to be DJI because the one I have like is really wacky. So I have like a bunch of weird gimbal, different tripods, long, tall ones, short ones. I even bought some like mics, like kind of like the clip-on mics, but
Like the wireless ones?
yeah, but like it just doesn't work sometimes, and I get very frustrated. So
That's good to know.
That's why my audio is kind of iffy. So when I was still only doing Instagram, I was like, I'm just gonna use my phone, right? But then now that I'm doing YouTube, I feel like, I should probably invest in some kind of nice camera for YouTube.
Probably. Yeah.
But like, I don't know how much money I'm gonna make from it at this time.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to
You have
figure
a decent following. Like, you have like maybe how many? 20 something K? Oh no, you have like 2 something K on YouTube, but you have 16K on Instagram. Is that about right? Your numbers?
I have almost 4,000 on YouTube now.
Okay.
Like I grew really quickly on YouTube for the last like 2-3 weeks, and then Instagram is kind of like it's plateauing. So that's why I'm putting more focus on Instagram. So that's why YouTube. So I'm thinking about getting a nicer camera.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that people. So here's the thing. So I used to be in acting, and I used to direct and produce some of my own short videos as well. So the lighting is really important, and also the sound.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about what I should do for like a light box, that kind of audio equipment. But like, I'm not into technical stuff.
Yeah.
So I still need to figure out like the best bang for my buck.
I'm excited to see what you do with your YouTube channel because you could do. Off the top of my head, I have so many ideas. Like, you could do daily vlogs. You could do weekly vlogs. You could do bi-weekly vlogs.
Oh man, there's a lot of good ideas.
You could do day in the life vlogs.
Oh,
Cooking vlogs. Well, you like cooking, right? You like cooking content, I assume.
the thing is like I feel like on YouTube you should do something that you're knowledgeable about. So for me, like I don't know how any of the recipes are like, in terms of like, how Asians cook, like they're just like a handful of this, a pinch of this. Like, I don't know how to do it. Like, I just roughly do it.
You know that, I don't know his name, but he's like really big now, but he's like this white kid who does Korean food. And it's just him being like there's no fucking audio. It's just him like, and he has the derpiest look on his face. I feel mean saying this about I don't even know this kid, but he looks like such a dork. And he's like, and then he got like 10 million followers, and he was recently in Korea doing like a food tour, and
oh my god,
he's like 20. I'm like so jealous.
Wow. See, this is the thing when I wish like our generation could have these opportunities, because like when I was younger, I wanted to make my own content because as an actor, and I wrote a lot of stuff. I was like, I want to do this. 10 years ago, people weren't watching YouTube shorts or like Instagram Reels or TikTok.
If only we had a platform when we were young to showcase our talents instantaneously across the planet.
I'm so jealous of the little kids. They're like 18 and they have like millions of followers. I'm like, what? You're 18?
It makes no sense. And yet we aspire to be like them. What a weird world we live in. Speaking of weird world we live in, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, but in recent news, when we were in Japan last week, there was a basically martial law, like almost a coup d'etat, it seems like. We woke up in Japan to like all these messages from our friends in the States being like, are you okay? Like I heard Korea's government's falling. And frankly, we're just like, we looked at the news and we're like, oh, nothing happened. Like none of our Korean friends are freaking out. But how was that experience for you guys? I'm just curious. Because it happened in the middle of the night. So like you guys woke up at the same time that we did being like, what the hell just happened, right?
I was actually awake the whole time.
Oh, wow. Did you
Yeah,
watch
we've
the
been
whole
sleeping late. We watched it, and I was just like, because I feel like President Yoon has been unpopular for a long time. Like they're just like, banners everywhere saying you should step down. So I already knew that he was not popular, and that his party was not doing so well. So personally, I was very calm because I knew that if it wasn't about North Korea, it'd be fine. Like,
right. And even if it is about North Korea, we're going to be fine.
I just feel like they're not gonna, like, if North Korea's not gonna attack us, and the president, I just felt like he was having a little bit of a hissy fit.
He was having a bad day. He was having a bad day and he made a bad call.
Yeah, I just felt like that was his, like, you know, like a Hail
tantrum.
Mary to be like, hey, I don't want to leave the office. Let me just try this.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what was happening. And then, yeah, my boyfriend was actually like, oh, Korea is going to crap. And I'm like, no, no, it's just a little hiccup.
Yeah, it's pretty inspiring to see the reaction from the public, too, of like, we didn't go through 3 military regimes for this bullshit. Like the old grandma with the hair, you know. And it isn't. I just finished reading Hangang's Human Acts, which is about the Gwangju uprising. So it was very front of mind for me about the real history of military dictatorship and like the threat to democracy and how democracy grew in Korea. So it was pretty crazy. We're in Japan and like in an onsen. I was naked with a bunch of Japanese men. It was awesome. But I was thinking about some pretty heady things like democracy, freedom, like freedom of speech and protest. And Korea's got that on lock. Like we protest a lot in this country. So it was pretty inspirational to see all those people in the streets just marching. And I saw that Rose did like a concert at one point. I was like, man, our protests are so lit that even K-pop idols come out and like perform.
Oh, like Blackpink?
I think so. She came out and and performed a few songs for them, and I was just like, wow.
Really? Wow.
It's pronounced rosé, actually.
Oh, is it rose?
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know Korean. Korean no good.
Wow. Sounds lit.
Yeah, I just feel like compared to what happened in America, like, you know, with the Trump situation, I feel like Korean people are much more united than Americans in terms of at least who they should get rid of.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's no, for me, I feel
Tell
like,
that to Jaehyun's dad. He loves President Yoon.
oh really?
Not as much.
No, okay, not anymore.
No, I heard his like approval rating was like 20% or something.
Yeah, it keeps going down.
Just like the
obviously, but-
Korean stock market.
At this point, if people are still kind of supporting him, they're probably like Homer in the bushes.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, you know, Korea really follows in the footsteps of its big brother America. So, you know, we impeached Trump, and hell, maybe we'll impeach this guy. Although I guess we're not impeaching him, though. We failed the vote,
motion
right?
didn't pass. But
He was short on 5 votes.
They're going to do another vote on Saturday.
yeah.
They're going to do another vote.
Yeah, I heard that.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets impeached.
for sure.
We've done it so many times.
All right. Well, once again, listeners, Julie's handle is Julesy2shoes, TOO shoes. You can find her on YouTube and on Instagram. Follow her on YouTube. She's trying to grow that following out. If you're interested in like language, culture, her content is very accessible, very watchable, well done. We have a lot to learn from you. And Julie, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
No, I had a great time with you guys.
Before we conclude, one last question. What is your favorite side dish?
Favorite side dish? Oh, there's a lot. Is it terrible to say macaroni salad?
That's a great answer. Yeah, that's a great answer.
Like, it's just like quite comforting. Yeah, one time I had 부대찌개 and they gave me tater tots. Like, that was just really random and awesome with 부대찌개, especially.
I've never had that
Interesting.
before.
Yeah, it was just one place that did it, and I was like, I came back just for their tater tots with 부대찌개.
Oh, awesome.
It was just really random. But
부대찌개 sounds
but
good.
other than that, I really like also like anything with 오징어. Anything with like, they put a lot of effort. Once I had 간장게장 as a side dish, and I was like, I need to go back to
some
this place.
some places do that.
Yeah, like that's
yeah.
when you know they really like putting out the money's worth for you.
Yeah.
And also some places do just UK as a side dish, and I'm like, that's like one of my favorite dishes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. All right, Julie, thank you so much for being on this episode of the Side Dish Podcast. And you listeners out there, follow her and follow us. You probably don't follow us, so please follow us and support our channel, please. And with that said, we'll catch you guys in the next episode.